Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Azakai here. We're going to be bringing you day 5 of the House Legion League. Interestingly enough, we have only a few battles. A lot of battles have been crossed off, so not entirely sure what happened with them. But I do think has been a couple of disqualifications and a couple of guys have pulled out. I do know SOAR, or otherwise SOAR, has forfeited. I don't think they're participating for the rest of the tournament. There are some others as well, probably from disqualification issues. But nevertheless, we're going to be watching the TNK versus the BLK. And it's on Kurakasa with BLK attacking first. Later tonight, we'll be watching BODS versus SVS on White Elk Court. But nevertheless, we got a DI team versus a JC team. Doesn't really matter which server they're from. They obviously got a team together, which is better said than... Well, um, it's much better than not having a team together. I do think the separation of servers is really just a growth issue when you have too many people joining at the same time. Having a separate servers allows different growth patterns, especially for some of the secondary systems in the game, like houses and stuff. Old houses will try to accumulate as many of the newer players as they possibly can, but they'll be less accommodating and very much more strict. While on the newer servers, they'll just take any new players as possible and probably have a better overall experience when when players are coming in coming in at a similar level. Fresh, but again, over time, casual players from even like there'll be a separation eventually. People like to go higher. People like to stay casual. Obviously, anyone here in the House Legion League definitely wants to be on the hardcore side of things. Not very much up for grabs, though I do have to say the exclusive doctrine is very enticing. I will complain about it though, since exclusive doctrine that no one else can get, it seems a bit unfair. Especially since this House Legion League might continue on the live server, so you could get a single team with multiple exclusive doctrines, leading to very much power issues or issues with the doctrines itself. If the doctrine was a little bit, if it was unique and kind of not a little bit underpowered, but really underpowered, and it just didn't have gotta say, a place in kind of like a meta setup, that would be fine. I do think that exclusive doctrines should be relegated as a signatory or has at least impact between players as possible because of the exclusivity. Attires, I give exclusivity fine because it doesn't really have an impact on gameplay. This will have impact on gameplay, so again, I'm really skeptical on how powerful this doctrine should be. I just hope the developers do not go crazy. I want to also shout out to the developers thinking that getting some more unique rewards, especially in-game rewards, but the downgrade from the attire to some titles and things does seem a little bit stingy, but I'm gonna have to put it up to this being a House Legion League, could be separated from the CBL. I am quite interested to see if there is still going to be a CBL. Do think CBL is relegated to the summer and winter season, so there'll probably be. So we had the summer CBL last season, so we'll probably get some intermediaries following, and then we'll get a winter tournament that has a prize pool, and that should happen sometimes around August, September, and October. Probably leaning into the November-December period, but that's still to be seen. I do think it will be probably it could be as early as August, probably as late as November. The start of it. It will definitely kind of bleed into the November and December period, but um, that normally would correlate to the start of another season. So we'll see what happens. Nevertheless, that is time's a ticking, so we should be seeing the start of the first battle. I don't know what's the hold up, but we are a minute into the start time, so probably just waiting on. Oh, good point. Just thinking about something. Let's see how this works out. I'm gonna change my borderless to full screen, which is interesting because full screen has been shown to some kind of have a native, so use as much as resources as possible. Let's see if I get a better performance. That look like a better performance? No longer attached to screen, so that's unfortunate. Maybe I should run benchmark tests. Just standing here, it does look like I've increased by a frame or two. The performance difference from borderless and full screen really doesn't seem to have that much of an impact in my opinion, but we'll see how well it shows for loading and stuff. It's great that the developers are still working on this game. I would be very sad if they're not, but nevertheless, the recent changes get me wondering how optimization is going. I know a lot of people are having problems with drop frames, disconnection issues, those kinds of things, but that's still to be seen. What is happening here? Alright, my Steam store just bugs the heck out. Oh, yep. Oh, there we go. I hate this. What is happening? Okay. So, this doesn't attach to the window anymore, so I don't know why that is how it is. So my mouse, you can't see it, but... Oh, you can see it, but it detaches from the window, so I can pop in and out. I wonder what's the holdup. Also, I don't like how it flickers in and out. Well. Still waiting. Waiting. Running the export. Oop, there's the first of many. Alrighty. Okay, let's ban that. Don't like promotions. Okay. Oh man, that flickering is going to really annoy the hell out of me. But nevertheless, what I try to do. A lot of moles from BLK. Heavy armor does seem to be the prevalent. Both sides actually. TNK also going in with quite a few heavy armors, some more poleaxes though. But I think the moles will definitely do better in the unit-to-unit battles. Got a lot of border rushes and monks for either side. The Shenji Grenadiers, or the range units, are coming out more for BLK rather than TNK. So the defenders will probably look to engage in melee more than the attackers, which is very odd. Um, uh, very odd, I would say. Normally, when you're the defenders, you want to kind of make use of units that have extended range or units that are relatively safe and can put pressure constantly. So skirmishing units are really good in kind of these scenarios. Ooh, very smooth, and then it just goes shatters into a million pieces. Wow, that is very odd. There we go. Flickered over there. Maximum speed. A lot of flickering. Might change it back to borderless. Make my life easier. I think I like borderless because I run with multi-screen. Full screen is great when you only have one application going, but since I have multiple applications going, I really need that. Really need the screen to just stay up sometimes. But nevertheless, we get the beginning. We got the Metallitor shooting towards that right-hand siege tower. Interesting position though, definitely below, and getting some shots, but not hitting true. Does this right in the end. That's great. Monks on the wall. This will get hit by a couple of the Krebs. The monks will also get hit. Ouch! Big hit. Big loss as well. 2 monks out of 9. You don't have very many monks, and you definitely do not have very many Metallictors. Interestingly enough, it is actually the... Oh, is this unit? Unit still has 10, so that's fine. I thought for a second that a mortar was shooting into that, but it's actually just a Scorpio. A Scorpio won't really do much damage. The center of each tower being left up is actually a good strategy. A bit of a waste to a bit of a waste to push more onto it. And talking about Kuruk Castle is kind of a very interesting setup of the differences between maps. You know, nearly every single map, I would say that the middle siege tower here is a death trap. It's, in this case, it does look like T and K is set up for that. But I also feel like the right-hand side is also mostly a death trap here as well. It's got a hard corner, and you got a supply point that goes easily from 2 directions. And this format really does make it difficult to make use of either the left-hand side or the right-hand side. But depending on how the teams are set up, I would definitely view the left or the right-hand side as kind of like a binary option. If you see guys here on the left-hand side, everyone onto the right-hand side. Muscle your way through the right-hand side, control that stairs. Don't need to go down yet, because the left-hand side will come through, beat your ass, and push you back. Definitely, instead, trap them in places where they don't want to be. So definitely in the gulag of the A point, and definitely this set of stairs. I mean, the stairs here is a very good stopping point, so they'll stop somewhere in A or back off of A to kind of to kind to kind of allow you to peek at it. So you got to have a lot of discipline to really bait the defenders into a bad position. Right now, I do think the attackers might make use of the ground, actually. Sometimes pushing through the ground on towards B could be a massive strategy, but you have to be fairly fast. A lot of these infantries, monks, and the border rushes are quite slow, so definitely going to get caught out quite easily. Without very much backup, TNK's Imperial Spear Guards will be a menace, but it won't be as devastating as a more damaging unit can be, so definitely need some backup with that ISG if you're going to push through. But does go through the middle gate. A good strategy. Control of the middle gate could lead to control of the supply point. If you get control of the supply point, TNK will have to answer you. So this is already off to a bad start for TNK. Actually just gets blasted through by the moment known as First Blood. Getting attacked from both hand side. TNK needs to be a little bit disciplined here, as feeding your troops into the mass could actually lose you out in the end. The BLK does take advantage of the confusion. Dagger Lancers are strong, but gets killed by the number of Fortibrachers there on the field. Surprisingly enough, does win the battle on the ground. See how long that lasts. Split into two parts. We got some Yanyudao cavalry just decimating the center here, and some turn of the Dagger Lancers. Will they push all the way through? Doesn't look like so. Double Fortibrachers will hold strong. Definitely going to be a reversal here, as reinforcement from that supply point is crucial. I don't see the controlling. Does see a retreat from the Mermialones. That's very upsetting. Mermialones is not really one for to really just be naturally strong. Unlike the Fortibrachers, who can just stay and brace. They're very tough. Very they do a lot of, well, do decent damage. Not a lot of damage. About 1,000 per hit. So TNK does look like they're going to come up from both sides. Could actually, this is very interesting. The Iron Reapers holding back made them lose more time. I think the Iron Reapers could have just gone straight in along with the Imperial Spear Guards. Imperial Spear Guards might be overkill, double Imperial Spear Guards, but
a walk in the park.
BLK should be looking for a reset, try to mitigate damages right now. Wow, there is a lot of grenades going off. Not very many artillery. Close range artillery is not happening, but definitely a lot of Shenjis and a lot of Ezekiel militia just blasting each other into oblivion right now. We got some close range Metallators. Love to see them, in fact. Top line Metallators are highly more accurate. I do think bottom line is more useful, but aiming for these war rockets will be delicious with those Metallators. Not to mention you can respond almost instantly. But where'd they go? They back off. Are they dead? Can't be, right? No, they're still alive. They pulled. Did they pull? Yeah, they pulled them. Oh wait, no, they're right there. I'm looking at the wrong side. TNK is the right-hand side. So he's got 7 left, but he's aiming at the siege tower. Taking out the Metallators would be very good. Really need one more shot into that. And yeah, taking control of the left-hand side does the exact same thing as the right-hand side, but there's so much more space. And whoa! I mean, like, this is a little bit overkill. I mean, wow. Oh, maybe it's not. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 war rockets and a siege ballista. I'm not even sure if siege ballista can even aim down that far. If the siege ballista was over here, maybe a good shot. Actually, like, again, I don't even think there's any good shots for that. A combination of Imperial Spear Guards and Vermillones, along with the Flamers, is probably going to hold this series very easily. Kind of throwing the Vermillones away. I'm not sure why people bring them along if they throw them away like this. Youch! Look at that. That was a devastating wall rocket down the center there. I can't get past the Shenji Grenadiers, can't get past the Flamers. There's a lot of collateral as well, so there's that. Both sides taking super heavy losses, but I think the defenders are slightly up, just by a couple, or not. In fact, the tier 5 units for the attackers is much higher, about 130, versus the about 200, the 200 to the 70, and we have 300 to 340. So about a difference of 80 units right now. Vendors could be seeing a hard press towards the base. I wouldn't defend the B point, not on my life, mainly because bursting right through to the base is highly possible. Highly possible. I would, this number of people here from TNK defending this point is quite interesting. Leftover, how to say, Liao's kind of struggling to deal with shield units. Funniest thing is that because they were designed to deal with shield units, but they were too good at killing shield units along with everything else that they had to nerf it. And even then, they're still really good at just killing everything else. And now they're struggling to kill the one thing that they were supposed to be killing. And it was just like, it's so backwards sometimes. Like, sacrificing some surf units for the B point would actually be smart, mainly because it would delay setup. Instead of wasting the Fort Braccio like this, I would definitely leave these guys. I would definitely leave those village watchmen there instead of lose the Fort Braccio, and getting pushed onto the base point right now. Now BLK having their own Metallators, gonna be a pain in the ass. I do think range on the wall could still be very safe, but I'm gonna have to be honest here. This is where longer range, or archers in particular, could actually be an absolute menace. But even then, the Shenji should do amazingly well on the walls. When the infantry game does come in, definitely coming down from the walls. We got a lot of Fort Braccios to deal with, and looking at some Shenji just rocking up. TNK is going to be basically like a sitting duck. Get some Shenjis across this wall here, throw it over, blast them to pieces. Over here, probably could make it. Definitely get the Metallators in there, would just smash it into pieces. Camels will die fairly easily. Again, fire damage, they take 500% normal fire damage, so wall rockets, mortars, all do extra fire damage. So you'll see these guys light up like no other. And we got some just general Shenji just shooting straight into it. So already just backfiring with a mass of infantry defending, and there is still 26 artillery left to go. But you've already lost a massive chunk of your forces, and I say massive. They were about 40 units up, now they're about 60 units down. So a swing of about 100 units just happened in a very, very, very short time. Pretty sure BLK can definitely take advantage of the low number of units out on the field right now, block up this entranceway from supply if they move now. But here's the thing, they're going to be slow. The respawn is about to happen. Oh, maybe it's just a heal. But nevertheless, we're going to have to see what happens. It's a hard corner. It's a bit difficult. But Vermillones lead the way. Fort Braccios get down on the field. They have superior range. Just need to get an array right across here. We got some cavalry comes on through. Fort Braccios getting tagged. Fort Braccios getting absolutely smashed. Wall rockets, close range wall rockets need to be taken out. Does get taken out by the looks of it. And cavalry comes in for TNK, but it is not as effective as it could be, as the Horde Rushers do hold those choke points. Without infantry reinforcements, it becomes very difficult to kind of have the cavalry just roam around. Not saying that the Horde Rushers are clocking, or like getting killed. They're getting killed. Unfortunately, they're in a position that's a bit too close. They actually need to go back here in order to shoot directly into this pile. So, right now, just the random heroes in the back could see the heroes here fight for it. And the unfortunate thing here is that TNK is doing an amazing job right now, but this Imperial Spearguard just needs to get in there. Like, I don't understand. Oh wait, it's the shortbow. The shortbow is the one controlling that Imperial Spearguard. Not to mention his top line Imperial Spearguard. That's a very interesting one. We got some more Liaos just rocking on through. Oh, there we go. He didn't unleash Dread. Does smack the... oh man, both sides are just throwing in cavalry. Imperial Spearguard. Player from TNK just being too safe. But then again, he can't really do much against the monks. He can't really do much against the cavalry. And he's about to get hit by a Dread Unleashed! Ooh, that is devastating. As strong as tough as the Imperial Spearguards is, not going to survive a Dread Unleashed right now from a cavalry charge. From a Dread Unleashed from the Yanyudao cavalry. A lot of friendly fire. There's no shortage of friendly fire in these games right now. The artillery is more or less overkill for the most parts. And that is the first battle. Does look like BLK does have a handle on kind of the artillery section. TNK did put up a good battle, but focusing too much on the towers did lead them to be at a massive disadvantage. Unable to deal with just the sheer number of artillery. I think by the end of that there were 30 odd artillery placed down by BLK. Nevertheless, it is still to be seen that they have kind of an even performance throughout the entire battle, so we could see a tie. So we could see both sides winning their attack. Kuruk Castle, again, I think it could go either way. Defenders or attackers could win fairly easily, unlike White Elk Fort, where I think the defenders do have a little bit more of an advantage. But we're going to have to see how TNK set up for their attack and how BLK set up for their defense on the next battle. Gonna switch this back to borderless, mainly for peace of mind. No, that's windowed. Borderless. Peace of mind, performance issues. Not really. I don't really get performance issues because of how strong my card is, but I do think it will be cool to see it would be cool to see if there was a performance difference between borderless and full screen. So, starting up the second battle, we're gonna just do a couple of housekeeping things. In the meantime, mostly just doing the timestamps. Mostly doing the timestamp for day 3. of surprised how quickly teams have kind of gotten into the flow of when to place artillery, and especially since, like, early on, we did see a lot of artillery at close range and units being used as cannon fodder. Now, both the attackers and the defenders kind of gone into this mentality of building a barrage platform and just walking into the barrage platform. It's kind of strange to me that they would, that people would take this kind of approach. It's not exactly, it's not exactly an approach I would say that would be intelligent. Sometimes you have to get hit. You can't dodge everything. But I'm still very upset that the teams are not taking a more flexible approach. They're just bunkering down with units that can take hits, and I'd love to see more faster moving units really focus on getting out of the way of the artillery and taking them out, and then hard porting your own place. So getting a little bit of mix of both. But right now we have all 15 players kind of go into the hard, like, static positions where they're very slow. You take hits and you shoot back. This, in the long run, is actually not beneficial for either side, surprisingly. Mainly because for the defenders, you've got less artillery and you'll definitely die. And for the attackers, you're not going to have very many units left over to gain superiority. One of the things that is always very interesting is when neither side has units left, and all you have is just heroes. The side that has units left has a massive advantage because of pressure. That small amount of damage, even if it's just a lot of village watchmen, getting stuck on them, getting hit by them, will drag you down, and eventually you will just die. Interesting to see 1, 2, 3 Siphonatis, level 26 Siphonatis, in fact. So that's very unfortunate. Not a max level. Um, the amount of cavalry from both sides is actually kind of lower than I would expect. Current Castle, although not an extraordinarily cab-friendly map, both sides still taking a lot of fortibraccios, still expecting to see them a lot. The amount of fire coming out, I do realize that fire is quite common. Camels shouldn't. I'm seeing less camels than I'd like to see. I think camels are really cool, but their susceptibility to fire is really hurting them, not really getting them the not really allowing them to get the value that they should really be getting. And I mean that's to be seen. Like, they're very powerful units. Don't get me wrong. Camels are very difficult to kill, especially while they're braced, and they're more or less basically CC immune. Their Stampede has a recovery system which basically makes them recover from any CC really, really quickly. And of course, they're just completely CC immune when they're in the brace formation. I mean, when they're in brace. But fortibraccios still take the cake, although I do have to say that fortibraccios and camels kind of have the same length. But that only has to do with how camels are coded, or how units target camels, which is apparently a smaller hitbox than the camel itself. So units have to walk unusually close to the camel in order to hit them. But I do think the lance of the camel is from where the rider is to, they can hit the fortibraccio basically. If they were having a brace off, you could have camels here, like the rider here, and they would be stabbing each other. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it's like. Because I'm pretty sure the camels actually have longer range than most pikemen. Whoa!
First blood.
Big sacrifice, I must say. Didn't actually get very many. 3 kills. Going to lose a horse, going to lose your hero as well. Piranhas, these guys. Big sacrifice, though. A life. A life for a unit. Would you do it? In kind of like this House Legion League, you still have the 3 death scenario, so it's not something I would suggest. It's all nice and dandy when in the heat of the battle, but right now you're trying to snipe out units that are not exposed is the first thing. They're deep within enemy lines is the second thing, and you're not in a engagement right now. That being said, you don't really need to be in engagement to go after high value targets. I'm more or less skeptical on the decision to sacrifice dying there for the unit in a case where they were not presenting a direct issue for the defenders. I mean, they will eventually, that is an eventuality, they will pose an issue. Every unit will pose an issue, whether or not you sacrifice your life for it is another question. It would be nice if there was a longbow to deal with them. A longbow that they have on the attacker's side, but not on the defender's side. So the longbow could definitely make good use of the wall once the attackers actually gain advantage. I don't think there's any... Oh, well, there's some Shenji from the defenders, some Medalators as well. Could definitely take them out. Never underestimate a single longbow. The sniping capability of a hero versus a unit does give a little bit more preference and urgency, since the pressure coming out from ranged classes is immediate versus kind of the positioning of units, which takes a little bit of a setup. Now, this is not a corner I would defend. Oh, goodness me. Now, problem here, I wouldn't have charged because there's no backup and you're about to get completely destroyed. This Water Ratio, gonna get completely destroyed. You should have waited. Oh, man. Even then, they're trebbing that platform. I would have said you should have waited down on the platform. But this here is going well. Counter-attacking with a shield charge, not the smartest thing to do. Just let the War Rocket do its work. The War Rocket is chewing through those shield units. And, I mean, like, obviously you can definitely tell that the style of what people want to do is just to survive. So, they're using cannon fodder units like the Imperial Spear Guard. They're getting decimated, though, both sides. I'm not even sure exactly. Those grenades are getting thrown up from the bottom of the stairs. The defenders could use those grenades, but I don't think the attackers should be using their ammos like this. They do have absolute advantage. Definitely in terms of numbers. Big losses for the defending side, I think. Not too many losses. Though 2 Imperial Spear Guards and maybe a Shield Maiden there. I do think a couple of monks did also clock out. But here is the approach. Could see some... Ooh. Trev did not catch any of the Murmillones. Again, area denial is strong. Control of the left-hand side wall could see the A point completely taken over just by artillery usage. I don't think it would be an intelligent move to fight back. To have units fight back on the point. I would send in tougher units instead of Fortaratios. Fortaratios, again, on the wall, great, but really you should be looking for units that can deal with the Imperial Spear Guard. So I would definitely bring out the tougher units in order to beat out the Imperial Spear Guard. It may be a little bit costly, but the longer the battle can last, the better it is for you, because both sides will have a limited capacity for damage, mainly using the artillery for the majority. But it's also really great that they're getting in this position here, and definitely really great that this Divine Crow, along with a couple of other artilleries, bombarding out not only the units but also the artillery being built by the attackers. So we also got some cannon fire very far away, also in a position to be trebbed. I do think one of the trebs can land on the backhand stairs. Not a very good spot though. Oof. Getting in onto this fortification again. The amount of artillery being used right now is nothing to scoff at. I would definitely, during periods like this, sometimes I'm just like, what if you just bring a peasant unit, bait out the enemy with peasant unit, either shots or either artillery shots or actual units. Interesting, monks just being super aggressive, and I wouldn't be surprised at the amount of friendly fire. That mortar going to be very interesting. Woo! Hey, an assassination. Does look like BLK wants to take back the wall. We'll take some heavy losses though doing it. But in return, they do get to kill out a lot of the artillery. And this is kind of working out for them really well. TNK has not really been gaining an upper hand in terms of artillery usage. They're about even, around about 12 to 13. But right now, I think the attackers are taking more damage from the artillery than TNK is doing with it. Okay, Camels kind of just went wacky there. Oh boy, just walking straight through the front gate without a care in the world. Really need to be careful. Fortibraccio set up, again, a fantastical array of a wall of pikes. Just cavalry as well. You can't do anything against this wall unless something as tough as an Imperial Spear Guard. Do they coordinate well enough? Is my question. No, this is in follow mode. This is follow mode and cover commander mode. So, this is very strange. The coordination between, like, Imperial Spear Guard, just touching that Fortibraccio would have been enough for any cavalry unit to just go straight through that. But sacrifice of the Liaos. Again, the Liaos will take a lot of damage. It doesn't look like they got killed. And the camels just went straight through. Where's the rest of the cavalry? Cavalry just sitting outside from TNK. They do take the A point. It does look like it's a bit of a mess on the ground. They could put more pressure on the ground, but they took the A point here. A bit worrying for the defenders to continue to fight this battle here. Especially it's an uphill battle. You have to get up on top of the stairs, and you're getting shot, and your front line is basically disappeared. You're heavily outnumbered as well. The ground battle seems to be much more in favor, but it will turn soon as the infantry from the A point will come down. Not to mention the heroes are actually clocking out. How many hero deaths are we looking at? Ooh! We got quite a few hero deaths coming out. 3 guys close to permadeath for the defenders and 1 guy close for the attackers. Sacrificing again more units. They still have a lot of units left over. I have to give them credit though. They don't have less surf units. So even though it looks like a 400 unit difference, the number of high tier units is still pretty close. We're around about 50 unit difference, which is around about three odd units. Whoa, wowee. Cavalry just bust their way through. Fortibraccio should have just stand strong and hold the back line. You really can't do anything in this scenario. Running away is... Or, I mean, like, you could maybe save some of the units if they don't catch you. Take that back. Well, I mean, it's true if they don't catch you, but yeah, standing and fighting would probably have taken a couple of them with, could have taken a couple of those cavalry with them, much more valuable than trying to get that foot ratio out. Now, a lot of time was wasted for the A point. Getting the B point for the free is kind of the standard, stock standard. No one really wants to defend the B point unless it's a bit of a desperate fight, and the attackers still have plenty of time to take advantage, and they do. Taking over the wall is pretty huge. Getting their own artillery up here, and it would just be shooting fish in a barrel, really. Like, you put a grape shot on this corner is absolutely amazing. This grape shot would just... An epic grape shot could shoot the units up to here. Roughly around up to here. Basically the entirety of that home point. Epic grape shot would just be delicious. Not to mention the spread out of damage will be massive. The heroes though, this is going to be very interesting. Short Sword tries his best. No backup though. He gets up onto the wall and just gets completely destroyed by 4 heroes. Hello, Obi-Wan Kenobi. What have you missed? You've missed the first battle between BLK versus TNK, with BLK winning their attack. And right now is the second with TNK attacking. There we go. Lots of artillery still available for the attackers and the defenders, in fact. Defenders have quite a bit. I didn't realize there was a battle happening in the back line. And it doesn't look good. Unit superiority is in favor of TNK, but hero superiority in favor of BLK. The only problem is the cleanup with the heroes strong enough? They are killing the heroes! Oh my goodness! Quarter Rashiels will bite the dust, unable to control them really. But cavalry coming through. Are units being pulled from the...
Child's play.
This is going to be very difficult. The TNK has managed to kind of pull the defenders out. That Imperial's, like, this is the weirdest thing. That Imperial Spear Gun could just walk straight into that Border Rusher. Like, heavy shield push into cover commando mode, and that would just be delicious. Backline is still being preoccupied. TNK is making a good distraction in the backline, but the TNK in the front line just does not... Oh, well, finally, we got some cavalry in, so both the backline is completely occupied, and the base point is about to be completely overrun, as the 2 Shenjis and the 2 Fort Brashios finally get killed. Here's the thing. With the supply point locked up, I think BLK not dying, well, then again, they are on their last death, so even if they did die, they can't respawn with units because it would be their last death. So here's the thing. You really gotta be careful with your death, and dying can be a very powerful thing. The members of TNK that died in the backline here respawned with fresh units and got in straight away, while BLK had the hard battle and was fighting constantly in the backline. KF versus WC. And HNB versus TP. It kind of went how I expected. Both attacks winning means that we go down to a field battle, and I'm not sure about you, Chief, but either one could win. The usage of the artilleries were more or less too impactful on the units, where control was just not on the table. I'm also gonna have to say it's just like I'm gonna have to also say it's just like does look like BLK kind of has a little bit more coordination with their heroes and their focusing. They stay alive a little bit longer, they're able to kill off heroes a little bit better, but they do end up on the losing side of the units a lot more in fact than TNK. TNK kinds of able to dominate with the units ever so slightly. Again, it's very hard to tell. A lot of times bad setups or unopportune time. What? That should be wrong. It should be a tiebreaker. Why? It's on Kuruk Castle again. I'm asking a question because that battle's point. This battle's pointless. Or this battle is breaking the rules here. Well, there we go. I mean, like everyone should everyone should have just looked at the map and just been like, Kuruk Castle. Like honestly, like Kuruk Castle. Wondering more or less people who like how do you judge if a map is balanced or not? Siege maps are very subjective to me. I don't really understand in the grand scheme of things how design works that allows you to get a 15v15 and kind of have them equal out. I understand that Treb is there to kind of even out the powers between the defenders because like defender has massive benefit. Like defender's advantage is just a thing. Just to me, it just feels like it's just a thing. The attackers have the Treb, so that's very powerful. But I think if the defender knows how to mitigate the Treb, you just deal with the attackers very easily. So I'm just wondering, just like a non-symmetrical map or kind of like think about it like this. Grassland, as symmetrical as you think it is, it's not actually that symmetrical. It's got certain features for one side that the other side doesn't, and I definitely do think there is a bias. Maybe there is a bias. If I looked at every single grassland, there's a probably an overarching balance difference between one side and the other side, or maybe a difference between the strategies that are used from which side you're coming from. Hello, Mask Blame Z. You've come to watch some House Legion League. There is a 3-minute delay. we're here on a tiebreaker between TNK versus BLK. So they have both won their attack. Both teams do seem to be of a similar skill level. I do like this. I do think BLK's got some of the hero focus down. TNK's got some of the units down. So I think when it comes down, when it comes to thick and thin, TNK is going to look like they have the advantage, but BLK is going to pull the win out from killing or focusing down the heroes. But that could also be mitigated by just outright winning the unit battle to such an extent that the units will just kill the heroes as well. So, gonna have you let you take a look at the compositions for both sides. Again, BLK using a lot of moles, so they're definitely looking at some impact there. While survivability for TNK is there, so that's why probably focusing on the units more on TNK side and BLK, you're looking at some kind of the hero impact. Lots of Fortbrashers, expect to see them. I don't think Fortbrashers will. I think Fortbrashers should be part of everyone's lineup. Cavalry is just so prevalent, so many of them. Chevalier is coming in now and again, still very great unit, and particularly really great combination with as a support role filling in for that range kind of if you're protected if your flanks are protected by cavalry and infantry, you having the clinch of the Chevaliers should do really well. Good teams in the current tournament. So um, among the teams that I remember, we have probably just old teams. Um, just old teams like ECL, CBEL, maybe maybe WLBG who like big gates. The entire lineup is BODS was a disappointment. Everyone keeps telling me that they were really good. We get to watch them next one, so that's interesting. Wow, coming in late for this battle, we're going for a massive push towards the C point. Camels leading the charge. Again, great to see some camel action, and definitely not something that is easy to deal with. TNK is encompassing this C point heavily, and that was a big mistake. Those guys going to be thinking they're going to get the C point, but they're not. It's heavily contested, and it could see a flip. They will switch to the A point, so my question here is how they're going to hold this A point. Some people here on the front line got to start dying. We do see the front line just being held by Medals and Fortrassia is doing a really good job. Look at the massacre of cavalry. Very inefficient for TNK. Really good pickup for BLK, almost single-handedly holding that entire cavalry pile with Medals and Fortrassia. Fortrassia is almost dead. One flamer left, but still overwhelmingly in favor of the heroes there. No units left though. All the cavalry is basically dead, and you're gonna see some grape shots and the Wayne decides trying to charge into Foot Russia is not the smartest thing to do. The heroes from TNK do just that and just survive for the most part. Not really making that impact in the end. Very unfortunate for TNK. Could have picked. Whoa! That is a triple, and that is not going to be good. TNK is going to be completely shattered from this, I'll be honest, like, and even the spear just getting onto the point here. Lots of pressure. There's the triple cap. I'm gonna be honest here. There's nothing that TNK can do in the short
A walk in the
term,
park.
because BLK is going to walk straight up on this. I would as well. C, forget about it. Don't need anyone there. B and A, spawn from the A section, come down onto the supply point. Anyone from the B section, go straight to the base point. You keep them fighting, you win. You only need to, you only need to hold for 30 seconds and you just win this. You just win. You just win straight. BLK needs reinforcements at the A point, and he gets it. Does take out the Winged Stars at the very beginning. Liao's strong, man. But we have the Yan Yudao versus Yan Yudao. Which Yan Yudao's stronger? Does look like they're both variants of the top line one. Top line one's much better at mass cavalry, but two sets of Yan Yudao cavalry smashes. Wow! Just look at that. Complete massacre of the Fort Rushers and the Halberdiers. Still charging up this hill, uphill battle for TNK to even just stabilize, but less than 10 seconds to go. They've won it. They've just straight up won it. Like, they only needed to hold for 30 seconds. It takes around about 20 seconds in order to cap a point. And, man, did that backfire massively. TNK, I love your strategy. I love the aggressiveness, but running into one of the biggest issues is that corner, Border Brushers and that Madao need to get on it. You had heroes, but no one was focusing that pile. You were too focused on the heroes. Why is it that I say that you were better at the units, and then all of a sudden you focus on the heroes? You were doing really well against the heroes, but you lose the units in the end, when you really should be winning the units. I mean, I feel like BLK kind of had more potential with the hero impact, but then again, they're a bunch of moles. They are very powerful, so if you're not gonna stop them, you probably lose the unit battle anyway. That is tragic, though, that your strategy didn't come out on top, and you outnumbered them massively. Like you had like two players plus on them, and you lost so heavily, so heavily. It is disappointing that your strategy failed. It is disappointing that you didn't see the Fortbrashu, Madao, and Flamer combination. It was in a very tight corner though, and I am impressed from BLK. Massacre of the cavalry. Absolute massacre. Barely anyone could get onto that formation, and it just, like, there was no clean charge. There was just, like, barricades on one side, barricades on another side, and it was just, like, if you want to come in and charge them, you have to come past and get slam and try to slam into another barricade. So you're just hitting barricades after barricades. They were kind of protected by the terrain there, more or less. So, TNK, like, the execution, poor. The execution was poor. But I think that was it. That's just straight up. The poor execution was the main thing. It was not really anything else besides the execution there. Could have had a better time if you were more, aware. It's more or less awareness to me that was not working out for you. Alrighty, we got SVS versus BOD. Does look like White Elk Fort with SVS attacking first. BODS defending. I'm quite interested to see if the rest of SVS does rock up in a timely manner. Do you think that a penalty is applied if we have to wait beyond 15 minutes? I think every 15 minutes they lose a point, so there's that. So if you're late by half an hour, you just straight up lose. I think that's old rules, though. I'm not sure if those are current. I will also say the TNK, the BLK members that went to B, then base, was basically baited. Because they thought they would get the C point and they could get a sneaky cap. But here's the thing. I would have either came up behind the guys at C or went straight to A. In that scenario, it would probably have been better to be on the defensive rather than the offensive. And this is also a very important point I probably want to point out is dying would have been much more preferable than surviving for TNK. Because if TNK just straight up died, they could have held the A point and be on the defensive, and that would have been able to allow them to at least stabilize and have a fighting chance. But because TNK survived for so long, each of their members died kind of simultaneously, and so a massive drop all at once led to a complete collapse of their presence on the map, with BLK just dominating super hard. And again, it just happens like that. Not entirely sure. Not entirely sure there, Mask Flamesy. Not entirely sure. I do remember seeing Yi before. Not sure if he fought for BOD before. BODS probably could be a different team. There's no BOD, so could be BODS, could be the successor to BOD from last CPL. All right, I'm gonna well, welcome back from the 3-minute ad. I'm probably gonna saw the 3-minute ad anyway. I wonder if there's an extra battle happening. Is it because the extra battle is happening? There is. OPC versus KF does have a grassland assault going. Wait, what? Oh, that's right. BOD's killed, defeated pleb back in the thing. So only 5 old players. Pretty sure if I have main roster, it would be a lot different. Hmm. I'm surprised, actually, I'm surprised how many grassland assaults we've had in the recent times, because it's quite, quite impressive. Whoa, they already finished. That was fast. Or maybe it wasn't fast. Maybe they started because... Nah, they would have started around the same time. Finishing up, though. Um, finishing up there, though. Inshallah, if I get my main players, I will play, I will join. Oh, it's like Deus Vault. But when it comes to Chinese letters, I don't. Yeah, nah, man. I'm the exact same as you. I'm the exact same as you. Mass Claim Z, you are my spirit animal, basically. I do not remember, for the life of me, I do not remember names that are in Chinese kanji. I don't read Chinese kanji. I can't read Chinese kanji, so I can't identify people with Chinese kanji. I have to really concentrate on remembering the different kanjis for someone's name, and then that combination to be like, yeah, I know that guy is the person. Like, I can remember combinations for, yeah, I can remember combinations for English names that all of these guys I've never seen before. Like, I've never seen Metal before. I've not seen, Maruta, Gran, racist, racist Pepe. I've actually seen, um, but in an official match, I'm not sure if I've seen it in an official match. I do think I've seen racist Pepe as like words that it just exist. Um, I've definitely faced Choco and Vivi in probably public matches, just like regular matchmaking and stuff. I've seen Yi before, so Yi must be part of the old BODs. Angel must be new because I don't remember seeing Angel before, but Yi is definitely probably one of the old BOD players. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are more old players here, but I just I just can't identify them, unfortunately. But here we go. Battle between SVS and BODS. We have SVS attacking first on White Elk Fort. White Elk Fort does seem to be the favorite. I'm quite skeptical on whether or not anyone actually knows how to attack this properly, since it's kind of new. Kind of. BODS. I'ma say you're already lacking. Oh, no, they're changing up their lineup. It was a bit lacking there. That was so... Ooh, not good. He DC'd for a brief second there. Let's see if he's, oh, well, he's back now, so that's good. Agreed. Hate the doctrines. Hate the Adi rule change. the armor attributes is the armor and weapon attributes also. Oh man, all of the the changes to live server, everything that was lacking in the tournament server being allowed just hurts me like emotionally because it's just unfair, very very unfair. I mean, I didn't let you guys see the entirety of SVS lineup. Too late now. A lot of mauls though. SVS got 6 mauls out on the field. A lot of heavy armor. Again, the classes that probably benefited from the Reforged system the most are the high percentage scalings and the heavy armor classes. Nearly all heavy armor classes probably got a massive boost in survivability compared to the other armor classes, but the armor classes probably has some better ratings. I mean, some better percentage scalings comparatively, or how damage is dished out. That is. Making use of all of those free artilleries, again, just because you can bring some high tier units doesn't mean you should. We've already seen a couple of shots shoot towards these Daggerrack Lancers, and he takes out 2 more. Youch! Definitely not something you want to see. High value units just getting skewered like that. I mean, having those ballistas there is just, my goodness. If the light armor user doesn't have a good gear, can insta-die. 3 combo, insta-kill, yeah. Oh, the 3 combo? Yeah, all you do is you either do, well, if you wanna just ruin someone's life, it's like, it's Rock Slide into Earth Splitter into Ground Smash or Forge of War. For the same, different names for the same skill, but that would basically just one-shot most people if you were damage and strength based, because the total damage output from that attack combination is because you get hit by the Earth Splitter. Oh, sorry, you get hit by the Rock Slide first, doing roughly around about 2,000 damage. Get hit by the Earth Splitter, doing around about 5,000 damage. And then you get hit by the first hit of Ground Smash or Forge of War, which does roughly around about 2,500. And then you get hit by the second attack, which does like 9,000 damage. That's pretty much enough damage to just one-shot you. Especially if you get hit in the back, you're dead. You're just straight up dead. Again, I mean, I don't understand this focus on the right-hand side, and this time BOD is defending this right-hand side. So, there is a lot of restrictions when coming in through this right-hand side, and it really predicates on how the defenders play this. The defenders could play this very well, and definitely just doesn't open up. Like, look at here, like, there is so much buildings here, and they can stay really close to the walls. And again, this massive building complex in the center, super safe, standing all inside of this main street, super safe. Will it get destroyed? Oh my god. Hey man, this must be the luckiest wall rocket to ever exist. This tree blocks a shot, and all of the other shots just aim up, and a waste of a trip right there. That's tragic. Know about Bombard Bug. Oh my goodness. It's an arty bug in general. I don't know about this arty bug. I haven't seen it before. I would love to know what it is. Oh, nice. So you can't click bombards.
First blood.
I don't think so, but I don't think anyone would know how to, considering that it's very difficult to get your hands on one, besides the Constantinopolis map. So, this is always just the interesting part, because BOD's shooting up, and they're really close. So this section here is extraordinarily advantageous. There's very few spots you can aim here, and I'm pretty sure SVS is focusing on the wrong section, because if I was BOD, I would be kind of hiding between these L section here, hiding behind the stairs. If they come down, I come up behind them real easy, and taking advantage of the gate. Like, this is always a really smart move, because most of the attackers will be coming in from a different angle besides the front gate. And I'll be honest, having the front gate open versus having it closed can be very powerful. And in this case, the defenders being there is classified as a close, because you have to get through these defenders before things. So I would definitely have people checking that front gate all the time. And it's kind of like free damage if you just had a ballista, just like even back here, and just shot straight into it. But what's also extraordinarily dangerous is if BOD kind of wraps around, gets up onto the wall, and looks for an attack opportunity. Because if you're split like this, and you had people here, I mean, like, you have people right here on the right-hand side, and you get a couple of guys sitting in this middle part, but since you have to back off, I would pull into the house, into the gatehouse, and move the guys that were in the gatehouse already to the back section here, and just charge up this section. You could box them in. Have these guys come up through this siege tower. Have your main guys come up through the stairs, and then finally have the guys in the gatehouse move towards the back of the siege tower. That would be really cool to see if executed properly. But right now we are off to a shattering start with a couple of rape shots there at the front. Expedition Knights takes the win against the Shield Maidens, but here comes some monks to change the tide. It does look like monks from either side is working. Massive pile on right now, but it does look like cavalry wins the day. Massive victory for the defenders. BODS just savagely smashes that assault into smithereens really quickly, in fact. Just got some Shenjis just shooting down. Cavalry can't go upstairs, unfortunately, so Hero's gonna have to just finish them off. But that was clean, very clean, I must say. Again, door is closed, can't get through here. And surprisingly, it was because they got the supply point. So, lack of numbers out on the front means that you're trying to get these units, well, hold the supply point. But here's another question. You just going, like, what was the plan? What was the plan? You sacrificed, you sacrificed 13 people, 12 people to get 3 guys in position. Only for your 12 people to just get absolutely decimated because of the lack of 3 people. And now those 3 people just has to face off the remaining of whatever your 13 guys are facing. The camels are just straight up dead. The fire damage will kill them more than the actual damage that they're taking. And here's the thing, like, because the front gate was still closed at the time, or it had units inside of it, it was super difficult to get all the way through. So a rush strategy just failed, just flat on its face. You couldn't open up the front gate there. What, like, SVS, I mean, at this point in time, I do think BODS considering it has a couple of old players. But then again, my guess for BODS was going to be an experienced team. But SVS, that was pretty tragic, because not only did you just get absolutely decimated, you had like 3 guys in the back just, I don't know, like cuckoo, like it just seemed crazy to me, because just like you had cuckoo brains just at the back, like doing what? You're doing what? You got the supply point. No one can help you reinforce because they're all dead, and now you have 14 enemy defenders coming in to kill you. Now, what this is very interesting. So this mole player is actually spawn camping. So he actually successful in that spawn camp. And now the camels kills off a couple of things. This is really good. These trades are super good. A charge comes through, you're gonna hit mostly camels and reverse it on them. Oh man. You can pick up a couple more trades like that and you might actually turn it around. But the unfortunate thing here is you need to get the A point. The A point is a complete lockdown, and you don't have time to set up for an artillery battery. Both sides are going to run out of time. Now, SVS, your best strategy is to just mess up the place. Go through the front gate, go through the left-hand side. This left-hand side is not even open, so that's even more interesting. Go through the entire back line, and you're making a mess of the back line, if I do say so, because my goodness, this fighting at the back line has just been a churning of units. And you're picking up, like, BODS is not solidifying the back line, and they're just losing units as they funnel one unit after another into a bad matchup. Now, I did miss out the start of this battle, but it does look like majority cavalry came in through the center, killing themselves, but still making a beachhead inside. Now, the only hard part is that if the back line's gonna get here fast enough, it's mostly for the Brachio's, so... Whoa! We got some Winkersars charging through. Hey man, no point rebracing. It is live and let live. You pray to God that you hold. And very unfortunate here as well, cavalry coming in from the back, unable to break through. BODS manages to hold, eventually gets back the advantage, and again, it's because of how they think things will work out. You really need to engage with infantry first before having cavalry come through, and especially against a Forte Braccio mass like this. Like, every team's gonna have a Forte Braccio mass.
Child's play.
So pretty much SVS, like, not only coming through the thing is that they primarily came through the front gate. I would have had most of the cavalry sit at the front gate, have infantry quickly go left and right stairs. Doesn't matter if they fight you on the stairs. Get them off the ground, have the cavalry come straight through, because the thing is that only infantry can fight infantry on the wall. But get certain types of infantry being pushed to the wall means that you can get, if any Forte Braccios have to face those stairs and things, you have your entire cavalry force come straight through the front gate and just smashes them in the back. Coming in from different directions is very important. Timing as well. You got a contingent in the back of the map coming in late, very late. Like, the battle's already done by the time they got there. So the first battle, BODS just completely washes them up. Super easy. You had 3 banana brains at the back of the supply point thinking that, oh, this is important. Unfortunately, the rest of their team can't, like, 12 people cannot face off against the other 15 BODSs. So even if you got that supply point, you're not having an impact. BODS doesn't care because they don't have to deal with you yet. Oh, really? That's interesting. So I think CNC mostly is disbanded after the defeat. Well, I wouldn't say after the defeat. I think in general people just got sick of. I think CNC just got sick of playing, even though BPJT beat them eventually in the end. AFK with Artie inside. That reminds me of. Oh yeah, every time people love putting their unit on top of their arty, even though that's really stupid because it just presents a bigger target for explosion type arty to just destroy it. I mean, like the number of times I've seen people with entire units just standing on their artillery only to get shot by something like a mortar and see the entire unit plus the arty just get sent flying. It's hilarious. It's just hilarious. But that also has to do with what kind of arty they're using and how powerful it is. Because you can have some really powerful arty, or you can have some really worthless ones. Really worthless ones that can't do anything is like the culverins, which are really precise, but um, epic ones are really great, just smashing straight through. It pierces 7, surprisingly. I thought it would pierce only 5, but it pierces 7. And um, so it's really easy for Epic Culverin to just shoot straight through and hit the arty. And um, the green one's not gonna make it, only hits 2. Blue one's only hit 3. I just think especially when you're using arty, the type of arty you're using and how frequently you're supposed to be using them really is important. If you got a shield line, go with a grape shot. You want to be as close as possible. You want to be as close as possible to impact the front line as much as possible, because you are more dangerous with the shields close to the front line, and the grape shot is more dangerous if you're close to the front line. Allows you to just one-shot high-value targets, but at the same time, you can overkill a lot with a grape shot, and that's really bad. I wouldn't be surprised if you have some other artillery options as well, but relegated to low impact ones would probably be best for kind of shield line, and high impact ones would be better for something like Fortebrachos or even range, in fact. Everyone just still uses super explosion ones. You got the Divine Crow now. You have mortars. You have cannon. You have cannons, but no one uses cannons. You have all rockets. You have flaming comets. Everyone uses flaming comets mostly because it just doesn't tend to friendly fire as much. Although it does mess up the lines a lot more. It's a bit more erratic. I do think though, Hawatchers are underappreciated. Having someone with a Hawacha and if you can't throw your shield line straight into a Fortebrachio, put that Hawacha down and watch how fast you're going to cleave straight through that Fortebrachio. And the best thing about that is that Hawachas are actually really good against cavalry. Really good. Uh, this House Legion League. I haven't seen anything from them. I honestly don't know. CNC, the situation with a lot of the teams, I actually really don't know. I think for the most part, Lassie wasn't even their main members. The old members just got tired, and CNC got quite a lot of new members based on what I was told. Um, yeah, I was told something like that as well. You see, even though Legolas was still the team leader of CNC at the time, what I was told, or what Zidwan told me, is that CNC had a lot of new members come in, and a lot of the old members were getting tired of the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if something to that effect was happening. Most of the old CNC members that I remember, or could remember their names, don't exactly come around often anymore. I mean, I recognize Legolas's name now, but there was this one guy that used to play a lot of different classes. But I remember him mostly for his longbow play, because even though that the class was not very strong in some of the seasons, he would still use it from time to time, and that was great. I like that expression. Really nice to see some of the Wuxing pikemen. I do think the Wuxing pikemen are kind of top of the class in the terms of tier 3 infantry units. Again, ranged units will definitely mess them up into oblivion, but when we're talking about like tier 3 units, they really come into a kind of a middle ground between the super OP units and the regular units. And what I mean by super OP units, I'm talking about like single target specialty units, monks, the Machietis, and the Fenris pack. Sons of Fenris? Oh, well. Those guys are really specialized, and they're basically broken. Like, right now, they're kind of overtuned in a lot of cases. They beat out so many of the regular units. And this is where the Wuxing Pikemen, kind of like one of the tier 3s, where I'm just like, nah, they're good. They actually do well. What I mean by that is that they're fairly balanced against regular units, and will get basically decimated by kind of the specialized units. But here's the thing, like, they're kind of like the best regular unit. So they're OP, but not meta OP. So definitely, the balancing issue just comes from stat issues. I do think in terms of health, maybe a little bit too high, but I would think that the rest of the tier 3 infantry just kind of needs a boost in health anyway, especially the pikemen. Probably not the swords and shields and the shield unit, just mostly in the pikeman arena. Right hand side gets taken, back section could get taken. I mean, this point is always just really weird to me. Every single team has taken this right hand side. I don't understand the strategic advantage of this right hand side. The only reason why this right hand side would work is blitzing the enemy defenses. But the problem is you're running straight into the enemy defenses. That big mistake here, throwing in those Daggerrack Lancers, even just a few catches could mean a big difference in the end. Fortibrachers getting clapped on, unsupported right now. Could see a collapse in the formation here in the back, especially. We've got some prefecture archers really good at decimating the Fortibrachers, but I would not have these guys out just at the moment because most of the shield units are out in force. So this is going to be hectic. Step on the supply point is probably the main goal of BOD right now. SVS is in a straight-on battle. This is very beneficial for BOD. They got some nice cavalry comes through as well. I'm looking at absolute mayhem as the backline was trying to deal with, as the backline deals with the cavalry. And now the infantry, like, this, look at the coordination from this. The Fortibrachers in the backline dealing with the cavalry, super easy. The front line, you had the monks, you had the Imperial Spear Guards, you had the Shield Maidens just fighting those infantry. The focus right now from BOD is incredible. They are mid-maxing their unit advantage. Got a couple of nice artillery in, fairly fast as well, some close range ones, and just completely wipes the floor with the defenders' SVS. Hey, leftover artillery gets used against you. It happens from time to time. Surprisingly, no major losses. Could see a kill here. Whoa! The longbow just gets murdered. Ooh. Could see another shot come through, but no dice. Although those are your artillery, destroying them is not a bad idea. Nope. Nope. I think one DC'd at the start, that's why he didn't show up on loading screen. But he did come back in the end. Not sure if his lineup is what he wanted. Oh man, what I absolutely hate is this free Divine Crow. This free Divine Crow shoots straight into this. Man, that is. Man, if I hated anything, it is that. And I'm looking at some dead bodies from some Zakalian militia there. So BOD is being quite resilient here. They're not standing still, and definitely just pushing through. The smart thing to do is to keep moving when you're getting artillery. And whoa! That is some crazy setup right there. Ooh, shields should just go up to the front. I don't know why Medals are at the front. You have some nice Imperial Spear Guard, can take some shots from the face there. But oh, well, there's the Memilones. Oh man, taking some heavy casualties as they pulled up here. Heroes, no fear though. Getting pushed back. Monk gets probably gonna get destroyed here. Grape shots point blank. This is a really good setup to see so many grape shots with nice thing pushing the infantry through is definitely what you want, protecting your artillery. We have 2 grape shots. Oh, there we go. There's the dancing. That's a dancing dragon on the right. That's a flaming comet on the left. And then just listen to the artillery roar right now. And that was brutal. Like, they pushed right through. Forcing their way through. Cavalry gonna come in from behind. A bit late though. Most of the battle is finished, and now cavalry from the opposing side is engaged. So that was a massive bait there. But then again, they have barely anything to respond. Big pickup about to happen as skewering themselves straight onto the Fort of Rashios. Fort of Rashio also pulls up from the supply point. Oh, that's unfortunate. So the first few actually dies, but gets killed by the ones in the back. So we're going to see some more Fort of Rashios here. The Memilones did a really good job at clearing that first set of Fort of Rashios there, along with the monks. But right now it is a massacre of cavalry, and with pike rolling on up. I do think that BOD could see a massive spawn of... Oh, using their own artilleries against them. Very smart. Unfortunately, about to be taken out. Only takes one person to keep him occupied. It means that he doesn't get shot. The defenders are slowly trickling down, but surprisingly they are still holding, but not able to push out the attackers just yet. Fort Rashio pile is, was increasing the entire time, but I could not, solidify their position while throwing, literally throwing their cavalry into bad situations. And winning, and just winning in the end is super tragic for the defenders, because unable to deal with the cavalry with Imperial Spear Guards or just regular units, most of the Fort Russians were already taken out for the defenders, and all that's left is a short sword sitting on the point right now. So honestly, I don't like this style of BMing, because BODS could easily just end this battle, but they refuse to. Just killing the short sword. Look at here. The BODS is actually just not even standing on the point, and they're letting the short sword live because reasons? I don't know. They could have just turned around and killed him and finished it like 30 seconds ago. Now the monks are up on the point. We're gonna get, well, the Imperial Spear Guards get killed here. And most of the BODs, like, here's the thing, like, these guys at the front, make a good job. Good job. They're holding back the enemy. But these guys at the back, you're dumb. You're dumb as bricks.
Together we stand.
I give you negative points, mainly because, like, you could have cleaned that up way faster. You were so strong, BODs, but, the lack of commitment there at the end, like, lack of commitment, sorry. The intention to win was lacking at the very end. You just wanted the kills. I love how strong you are. I love how you play. I don't like how you're just, what is it, like, it's basically bad manners, basically. You're less focused on winning and just focused on killing. I can understand that for a few of you, especially those guys with cavalry or they're at the front, but the ending section? That short sword wasn't being attacked by anyone, first of all. Secondly, when people saw him, they just walked away. Thirdly, heroes next to the base point, no one was on it at all. Like, you guys actively avoided touching the base point. So I love how you play, man. I love how you guys destroyed SVS. I hate how you prolonged the battle. You had a really good showing, but negative points for me. I mean, I don't like that. I mean, I agree. Mass Claim Z. Trebs, Arty Fire, way overtuned right now. You got so many artillery, you got so much impactful artillery, sorry, that unit battles are less important, and the fact that BODS coming in from behind just brute forced their way through with artillery. Like, they just threw in their heavy shield units. Heavy shield units will either soak up damage or keep the enemy at bay. Literally friendly fired them to death. Most of their shield units either died to enemy artillery or your own artillery. They didn't even die to the units. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And I'll end it with this. It's just the developers' decision to the developer's decision for the developer's decision to have the Arties not only allow them to have epics and legendaries, but increasing the number was bad. Just straight up bad for the game. Maybe increasing the number without the quality increase could have seen a little bit of a change up.
I wonder if she would be a minister. What do you
So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. That is all for now. We did get to watch the TNK versus BLK. They are in the mid, I would say they're kind of like a mid-tier team. Kind of the 32, what you would see in the knockout phase. If you're at the bottom of the knockout phase, basically. BODS already showing they're a really strong contender. I do think that BODS will go far. Probably gonna go for top 8, maybe top 4. Um, but yeah, we watched the TNK versus BLK winning with BLK winning out, TNK making a massive mistake there on the Grassland Assault, and BODS just wiping the floor with SVS just now. So I do hope, I do hope that we get some more fun gameplay. Again, BODS kind of killed it for me there at the end. I really wish that sometimes they just end on a positive note, focusing on winning the game rather than pimping out the enemy. Could do wonders for viewer experience. Not to mention sportsmanship. I think ending the battle as soon as you can is more sportsman than not ending the battle. But anyway, that is all from me for now. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another set of battles. But other than that, my name's Azakai. Have a nice day. Bye for now.